Hey guys, it's the Spirit Room 152. Okay, so I was on Facebook this morning and I saw a post that I'd seen this meme, and it's something that it was one that elicited a strong reaction from my dad. So, it's this meme. It goes, I'm that real queen type. My kids sit at the table. I serve my man at the table. We all sit and watch our king eat until he is done and tell us it's okay for us to eat. This is how God intended. Excuse me. This is how God designed it to be. Ladies, that's why y'all can't keep no man. We need to go back to the way things were ordained to be and stop this independent foolishness. Okay, this was my response. In my house, it went a little something like this. My dad did not give me and my mom permission to eat. We ate whenever the fuck we wanted. And it's still like that to this day. And that's one of the reasons why my parents are still married after 31 years. Okay, let me give you some. And then my dad responded. And just for the record, my dad is 72 years old. He's from the deep south. All right? He's conservative, a Christian, a Republican, but he's not one of those who allows every little thing to affect him. He's one, like, my dad, he's one of those where it's like, okay, if something doesn't affect me personally, I'm not going to take issue with it. For example, the LGBTQ community. All right, I recently came out to my parents as non-binary. You know, they don't understand it, but they accept it because, you know, they said that, hey, you're non-binary. Okay, cool. You're still our kid. We still love you. Because in their heads, if you're a parent to an LGBTQ kid and you sit there and you wonder what the fuck went wrong, and you disown that kid, here's what the fuck went wrong. You disowned your freaking kid. Okay, that's besides the point. So my dad commented on it, and he said, so children are second-class citizens? Wow. Then I responded, imagine how I turned out if mom and I had to wait. She and mama, my maternal grandmother, that's what I called her. She and mama would have been none too pleased. Okay? This is how it goes in my house. Okay? See, my mom and my dad have been married for 31 years. My mom has never spent a single second of those 31 years being submissive. Because you know why? It doesn't work for her. Because in her head, her brain would turn to soup. And I can't say I blame her, because I'm the same way. If I allowed a man to rule my life, my brain would turn to soup. Okay, got me there? All right. It just, and you know, my mom, she taught me the importance of, you know, not just my mom, but my dad too. You know, they taught me the importance of being your own person, and, you know, that relationships should be complementary, not supplementary. You know, you balance each other out. It's not like where you latch onto the person and you're just like dependent on them for everything. Yeah, no. Nope. That's not how it ever worked with them. You know, that was just, and those are things that rubbed off on me. I'm 28, about to turn 29. I still have no idea what the fuck I'm gonna do with my life. I don't even have my shit together. And I can say that out loud. Because you know why? When my dad was my age, same story. So, no shame. But just that real queen type, this is how, you know, to me, what the real queen type is. The one that does shit for herself. The one that doesn't allow a man to rule her life. The one that doesn't allow her kids and her husband to make up her entire sense of being. All right? I personally could not imagine living a life where I was a stay-at-home mom and my entire sense of being just revolved around my husband and my kids. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. I would, you know, my mom, and this is something that rubbed off on me. She told me that if she had been a stay-at-home mom, she would have gone insane because it's like because my mom, she's one of those people where she could never not work. Like she needs to work. That rubbed off on me. All right. I'm actually been out on leave from my job for about 2 months, and it's something I can't really get into because it's being subject to federal and state investigations. Yeah, it's gone there. I can't get into it for legal reasons, but just bottom line, kids are not second class citizens, and I mean, for me, when it comes to men of my choosing, it's just in my like for me, I just rather be the equal. And what I mean by equal, it's like, see my parents, they both wear the pants. All right? I've been in relationships where me and the other person both wore the pants, and it worked out fine. But the breakups tied to those relationships had nothing to do with the wearing of the pants. Right? But yeah. It's just I don't understand. Like, women are like, oh, we need to stop with, oh, women need to not be liberated and this, that, and the other. Yeah, let me tell you something. All right? And for anybody who's watching, listen very carefully. It's 2021. All right? This isn't the 18th century. This isn't the Victorian times. We're not living in the time of, like where women were, dependent on men for everything. They were submissive and this, that, and the other. I can't say I blame Julia Tofana for doing what she did. And Julia Tofana, and I learned about her through this there was this, one YouTuber I'm a fan of, Bailey Sarian. So Julia Tofana was this Italian woman who created this poison called aqua tofana. And Bailey was right. It's very addicting to say aqua tofana, aqua tofana, aqua tofana. Right? It was colorless, tasteless, odorless. You could, yeah. And and this was before time of drug testing and all that. So, I'm sorry, I think I'm going to sneeze. Nope, I'm good. This was a time before drug testing. Yeah, you could slip it in the food. It would slowly kill a husband, and it would just pass off like a deadly disease. Right? I mean, I'm just thankful we don't live in those times anymore. Because, me being me, I have autism, bipolar, ADHD. I have some physical issues as well. No shame in it, because these are things my body has no control over. These are things I have no control over. And I'm fine with that. I've come to terms with it. But just, I've often thought about what I would be like as a wife and a mother. And, well, let me put it to you like this. If my kid is hungry, I'm not waiting on my husband. No, that kid is gonna get fed. All right? That kid's getting fed. Because, again, like my dad said, children are not second-class citizens. And I am not going to sit here and allow a man to dictate to me when I can and cannot eat. All right? After I make this video, I'm going to go downstairs and make myself a turkey avocado sandwich with mayonnaise and mustard, and I will eat that shit with pride. All right. This video stems from from another YouTuber. I believe her name is Kate Emerson. She had done a react video to Lori Alexander's debt-free virgins without tattoos. When she was reacting to that meme. Oh my God. I am the opposite of all three of those things. right? I have debt. I have tattoos. I am not a virgin, right? Last one, you know what, all those, I have no shame because, again, it's 2021, right? Things have changed. And, my dad, um, when he was growing up, so my dad was born in 1949. Um, when he was growing up, the women were the ones expected to do all the housework and such, even if they did work. My grandparents worked at the Remington Rand, and my grandmother worked as hard as my grandfather did, and at the end of the day, my grandfather expected my grandmother to do everything. Yeah. Okay, let me bring it back to my parents. That's not how they do things, okay? If one person's exhausted, the other picks up the slack. Okay? Say, for example, my mom's not feeling too hot. My dad helps her out with whatever she needs. He's not not just sitting pretty on the couch with his tablet and this black jacket he likes to wear with an investigation discovery show playing with one of our dogs, Colton, at his side. He's not doing that. If my mom needs help with something, he helps her, right? I just don't understand why men feel the need to bring it back to a time where women did everything and we stayed at home. All right? I can't do that shit. Right? I know who I am as a person. I had a boyfriend whom I lived with for a few months. He broke up with me, dropped me back at my parents' house, and well, yeah. But, it kind of gave me some insight into, and I mean, I wasn't exactly the best at keeping shit clean. That's still, you should see how messy my desk is. I got soda cups and soda bottles over here, a charging vape on a charger over here. Got another vape over here. Got some makeup brushes. My color switch. Got a Morphe palette and a bunch of other shit over here. I got shit on the floor I need to pick up, right? I'm not the best at cleaning, all right? I'm not afraid to say that. Bottom line, I mean, it's like, also another thing my dad had pointed out is that was that, there's some men who purposefully believe that, we should go back to that time. I'm not sure if I pointed that out already, but it's like, and I was also on Reddit earlier. It was a subreddit, the Am I the Asshole subreddit, and there was this guy who was complaining about how his partner was like, hey, can you change the baby's diaper and all that, and this is during the night shift, and he's like, why do I have to do it? Bitch, you're a father, all right? Just because, you did the and then it turned into and then she got a bun in the oven and then she pushed out a baby, or it was pulled out of an incision. I don't know which way. Right? Just because, she's, just because you like, you put, made a deposit, it doesn't mean that you're excused from being a dad. All right? So this guy is bitching about how his wife is nursing and, she's doing all this stuff with the baby, and then nighttime comes, when she's and it's like, and she has to ask him multiple times to change a baby's diaper, and he's complaining about lack of sleep. And I'm like, dude, you're a father. You are to be expected to have that same lack of sleep during the time in which, if you have time off to spend with your baby, don't expect to get much sleep. All right, I've got a long ways to go before I can even think about becoming a parent. I can't have kids biologically, but I do plan on adopting. And you know what? I'm okay with that. My parents are fine with that. It's like, hey, as long as we get grandchildren or at least one grandchild, hell, we don't care if it's a dog, a turtle, a cat, whatever. We just want a grandchild, right? When I was a baby, my dad, when my mom found out she was pregnant with me, my dad was excited, because my dad was 42 when my mom got pregnant, and he was excited about being a dad. He was excited about taking on that responsibility, like, yes, I get to have a tiny human, right? Well, and when it came down to it, my dad, he took, and at night, if my mom was exhausted, especially because she was recovering from a C-section, right? If my mom was super, super exhausted, guess who would do the night feedings? My dad. Guess who would change my diapers? My dad. Guess who would drive me around at night when I couldn't sleep? Oh, yeah, my dad. Seriously? I read these Am I the Asshole posts, right, where men are bitching about, having to take care of a baby. Yo, they make my dad look like a patron saint because he did what he was supposed to. As a father, and, growing up, I spent a lot of time with my dad because my mom worked weird hours, and it was as if I was being raised by a single parent and I only saw the other parent on weekends. That's because, that was just what my upbringing was like. But, I spent a lot of time with my dad, and, my dad influenced me a lot. Especially in terms of how I dress, because when I was 10, I started borrowing his t-shirts, and they were really baggy on me. Now they don't fit me. But, and I liked how they felt. And, I started wearing baggy clothes as a result. And I'm like, and, and that's something, to this day, even as a 28-year-old, I still wear baggy clothes because it feels good. All right. Now I've added more girly shit to my closet, but, bottom line, my dad, he didn't. My dad was kind of unconventional in certain ways that he raised me to be my own person, to question authority, which I tend to do a lot. Right? Question authority, be your own person. Oh, and another thing my dad normalized, talking to him about my period. Right? I really wish more dads would do this. Right? Because, my dad, he had this awareness that, my mom wasn't always going to be around to discuss my period with. So he was like, hey, you need to discuss it? Okay, cool. Hey, Dad, you're going to the grocery store. Can you give me a box of Tampax Pearl? A multi-pack? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll go get you tampons. If I had... if I needed to see the gyno for anything, and my mom wasn't available, I talked to my dad about it. And it's actually weird because I felt more comfortable talking to my dad about my reproductive issues than my mom. Yeah. I mean, it's just my dad, he's a real one because, he... even as a 28-year-old, I actually got my car stolen a while back, so I haven't been able to drive. He's been doing his best to help, and, my dad's a real one. And I really hope that, one day, he gets to be a grandfather and, he gets to do that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I was never able to meet my paternal grandfather because he passed away before I was born. So my grandpa Clyde, he passed away 2 years before I was born. I would prefer that history not repeat itself because, I want my parents to experience the joy of, being grandparents and, just all that fun stuff. And my mom, in a little thing, my mom's from the Philippines, so she will be introducing them to Filipino food. And I'm like, okay, cool. Do the typical grandparent stuff. I'm not gonna be one of those moms who's like, Mom, Dad, you can't do this, this, and this with my kid. No. They're the grandparents. Let them enjoy it. Again, I've got a long ways to go. I'm not equipped to handle that level of responsibility. That's another thing. I have a level of in terms of having kids. So even though I can't have them biologically, I still have an IUD because there's that chance that I could get pregnant and I'm not. And it's just like, no, thank you. I have that awareness that I'm not equipped to handle having kids of my own. I'm not equipped to being a parent. It's like I'm still in my young and reckless phase, and there's actually a really, really long story about that I'll get into in another video. But I just needed to talk about this meme, and like I said, my dad's a real one. He was the one who changed my diapers, made sure I was bottle fed. Oh, and my dad, yeah, like I said, I spent more time with my dad than my mom growing up. And you know what? That's okay. Cause I feel like, my dad, with all of his life experience and the things he was interested in, he was able to pass on most of it to me. And, I'm glad that he was able to do that. Cause it's like, and honestly, I think because of my upbringing, I take after my dad more than my mom. And that's okay. But yeah, I just need to get this out of my system. So, the Spirit Room 152 signing off. All right, bye guys.